online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
With Stephen Nolan.
Now, the singers Pharrell and Moby are among thousands of people who've joined a Twitter campaign to support a man who was ridiculed online because he was overweight and dancing. A split screenshot was posted on social media of the so-called dancing man. One picture showed him dancing enthusiastically to music at a concert. The other showed him bowing his head, looking dejected and ashamed. Underneath, the caption read, "Spotted this specimen trying to dance the other week. He stopped when he saw us laughing." Well, joining me now, the pop star and singer-songwriter Rick Waller. Hello, Rick. Hello there. And Fatima Parker.
Hello, Stephen.
Positive body image campaigner is how we describe you, Fatima. Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
What do you make of this, Fatima?
I'm happy, actually, because it's positive, and we'd like to see more action like this, because ridiculing and shaming fat people, it's a free-for-all, and we have no laws to protect us.
Yeah, you sometimes wonder, obviously, and we've heard this said so many times now about Twitter, haven't we? That people just feel at ease to abuse others.
Because they're encouraged,
completely at ease to do it.
They're encouraged. You see it in movies, you see it on television. Even the doctor humiliates the fat patient. And if you watch an interview with a doctor, they don't talk about a patient with another disease the same as someone who's supposedly obese, and if they consider that a disease. So it's humiliating and degrading the patient because they say it is self-inflicted.
Rick?
Yes.
People see it as banter, don't they?
I think that's the problem. You know, these days people say... The word banter is used too freely these days. You know, banter is okay as long as it's a two-way thing. I find that a lot of people these days just use the word banter as an excuse to be able to insult people and get away with it, to not have them take offence. Oh, it's only banter. Yeah, you're not allowed to get angry at what I've said because it's only banter. You know, I think that's really wrong. Basically trying to excuse someone being an a-hole because, you know, it's just a bit of banter. That's wrong. That's wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way they say, oh, you're being too sensitive, you're fatty. It's only a joke. You can take it. But they don't know the harm. You know, it's causing suicide. It's leading to depression, to eating disorders, to diseases of mental diseases and so many, and seclusion. This is not a joke, and it has to be stopped. And as far as dancing is concerned, you can see professional dancers wearing fat suits to make fun of fat people.
Yeah.
So
I had someone. I came back to Belfast this afternoon,
right?
And I had someone come up to me in the airport. I don't know this man. He probably recognises me off telly, right? So it's no problem. Someone coming up and saying, "Can I get a photograph?" or talking about a radio program I've done or a telly program I've done. He came up to me and he tapped my belly and he said, "You're a disgrace. Look at the size of you." And he walked on. I actually felt like punching him.
Yeah, you should have.
I actually felt like punching him.
Yes. It's because we do not fight back. We just take it. This pressure on fat people is so ingrained, and there's so much pressure from all over. It's embedded in people's psyche that even us hate ourselves. You know, we feel like we're failures. We tried all their, as I call it, snake oil treatment, you know, dieting and exercise. It didn't work. So we are failures and we hate ourselves. So you see how hard it is. So blaming other people for coming and belittling us and ridiculing us, you being a celebrity, this shouldn't happen to anyone, really.
Do you get much abuse, Rick?
Not so much. I used to an awful lot. These days, I don't really revolve in the same sort of circles I used to. When I was very much under the microscope, I used to get absolutely tons of grief from people. And don't get me wrong, I still get random idiots in the street come up to me and try taking the mick. But you know, it's one of those things.
What do they do when they come up to you in the street?
You do have to be a bit more thick-skinned.
Yeah.
But you know, it's
What do they do when they come up to you in the street, Rick? What do they say?
Oh, just generally making jokes. And like I say, again, it's the old pat of the belly and pinching of the cheeks and kind of like, it's like that. You're kind of invading my personal space here. You wouldn't. Well, I suppose some people would go up to a woman and start groping her. But again,
but that's
it
criminal.
Wouldn't be right, would it?
Yeah, that would be punished. I mean, she can complain.
Yeah.
That would be rape or abuse, sexual abuse.
This winner that sent out this tweet describing the fat guy as a specimen and mocking him. I wonder what he looks like or she looks like.
Probably not fat, first of all, and then they're probably not happy in themselves because they need to belittle and abuse someone else to feel better about themselves.
I wonder, does the media have to take some responsibility for this, though?
Yes, they have, of course. You just try and watch movies and you see how they stereotype the fats. It's like a product placement. That's what they do. We have to reinforce that idea that you should lose weight and go on a diet and that fat is bad and thin is best.
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Because the dieting business is a multi-billion pound or dollar industry. There's always that thing behind it. It is like a product placement thing, isn't it? It's constantly trying to sell these new fad diets and ideas and stuff. And I've embarked upon a great deal of life changes in the last 6 months. For several reasons. To be honest, I'm doing okay at the moment, and I just find that, the good old-fashioned don't eat more than your body can burn off kind of thing is a good way to go.
Have you lost much?
I've lost a couple of stone. I'm taking it slowly. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to win Slimmer of the Year or anything, but I'm making a definite effort, and it's because it's slow. Hopefully it's going to stay off. It's all that stuff. So
I've gone again. I've gone doolally again because I lost just before Christmas there between March last year and September last year. So in that 5-6 month period, I lost 7 stone.
Wow,
that's too short.
And I reduced, and don't try this at home; it's dangerous. But I reduced my calorie intake to 600 calories a day every day. Right?
Starvation. Wow. That's even low starvation.
So I lost 7 stone. Felt fantastic. I've put every pound of it back on.
Yes. That's what we do is to try and educate people on a change of paradigm. Change of your goal. It shouldn't be for weight loss. It should be for health.
Do you know what though? I said there about how the media got a role to play in this, and I bang on about this, and I'll say it again. If you think about it, you think of what the BBC and the other commercial broadcasters are doing as well. So we've got an era now where it's not okay to discriminate against people because they look older. So there's a huge drive now by the likes of the BBC and other broadcasters to make sure that they've got a representative number of older people on screen. Why? Because it represents some of the viewers, right? Mm-hmm. But, and I've banged on about this till the cows come home, and I'll keep on doing it. Where are the fat people on telly? Yeah. Where are the fat presenters on telly? Where are the fat newsreaders on telly?
Nowhere.
They don't appear. Why? Because we still feel it is acceptable in this society to say, well, actually, if you're fat, you're not beautiful enough to be on television. Yeah. Now, we can't say anymore that if you're old, if you're grey-haired, you're not beautiful enough to be on telly. But these television executives, now I'm a slight exception before I turn into a hypocrite here. The BBC gives me the BBC gives me a massive amount of television work in Northern Ireland. Okay, so I got to nail that. But you take my point that across the television spectrum, it is still okay to say, actually, if you're fat, you ain't acceptable on telly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's okay for certain people in the past to have taken part in very questionable practices, including drugs and other things like that potentially bring shame to
the person that they get away with it.
And to the reputation.
Listen, it's interesting territory we're getting into, but we got to leave it there. But Rick Waller and Fatima Parker, thank you very much indeed. 0500 909 693 if you want to pick up the phone tonight at BBC 5 Live on